What is up, everybody? Bob Lopigus here at Camp Sekani Disc Golf Course in Spokane, Washington, and we're going to be playing a 20-hole scoring layout today. Let's get into it. Going to be trying to play some smart golf today. Goal is 3 over. That would be my PR, so we're shooting for it today. Starting off on hole 1, 315-foot par 3. And we're going to be going with our Avenger SS here, trying to throw a little turnover over the bush on the left side of your screen. Hoping to get it close to the basket, but we don't do that. Pull it, roller off the roof of the house. Pretty crazy shot there, but actually not in a bad spot. Ended up about 50 feet short and a little bit right. Christian goes ahead and throws his straight into the ground in front of me. He's going to be out here frothing with me today. And for my upshot here, going with the range. It's a Proton soft range, so I'm hoping that if I hit something, it'll hopefully sit down. Give it a little flick. And we hit the base of the tree right next to the basket, but it does sit, luckily. It doesn't roll away. So we have a tap in par to start the round. And we're on to hole 2 now, 226-foot par 3. And we're going to go with our fireball forehand up the left gap here, trying to give it a little bit of anhyzer to push straight enough through the gap and then have it flex back out at the end. And we do that, but it's just a touch too high. Hit a branch, kick left, but luckily stay inbound, so going to have an upshot there to should be an easy par.
Golfer.
Christian goes wave backhand off the tee, gets it up the gap. He's just about where I am, a few feet in front of me. And I'm looking to putt it, but it's a little bit too far, so I decided to go with the range little flick forehand again. Gonna try to give it a run. Past the log is OB, so gotta be a little bit careful, but gonna give it a little bid and come up just short, about probably 10 feet short to come up in the basket, but landed about 5 feet short. Christian's gonna give this a little bid too with his pilot and just deep of the basket. Pretty good run from him. He taps in his par, so he's 2 over. He took a double on the first hole, and I tap in my par, so I'm even. And we're on to hole 3 now, 291-foot par 3. Up the hill, going with the destroyer, trying to flex it up the middle, get it high, almost a turnover, but high enough that it flexes out at the end. Tough shot. And we don't hit it, way too much angle, but it hits a bush and luckily does slide out back onto the fairway, so not a horrible landing spot, but not a very good shot there. Christian goes with his leopard 3, trying to do the same thing. And he has a better shot than I do, but kicks a tree and ends up a little bit short of where I was. And we're going with the range upshot again, giving it a little flick, trying to do the same thing I did on the last hole, but we just hang it way too high, end up about 15 feet short right. And we have our first tester of the day, save par. Knock that one down, center pull. Really good stroke there. Putt feeling good today. Even through 3, not mad at that. Playing smart so far. Christian barely makes his tap in. And we're on to hole 4 now, 360-foot par 3. And I'm just trying to hit the first gap on a little bit of flex, trying to throw it down the hill with my A3, and it should fight out if I hit the angle right, but I don't. Throw it way too high, don't hit the gap, end up about 50 feet past the tee, so we're gonna have a long upshot. Christian goes with his buzzsaw, ends up way left. Decent shot, but just doesn't have the aim point right. and I ranged it. It's 300 feet from here, so I'm going with the standstill flick A3. It is downhill, so it's probably playing like 260, so I think if I go full power I should be able to get there. Yam it over, flex it, hit the gap, but it's about 60 feet deep of the pin, so OB over the road. So we have this for our bogey. Got about a 30 footer through some trees, and we give it the height to get over the trees but not the angle. End up about 8 feet left. Christian taps in his par. He threw a tomahawk second shot to get to that spot. Taps in his par, I tap in my double, so I'm 2 over now. He's 3 over through 4. He takes a tee from me, hole 5, 332 foot par 3. He gets about 15 feet off the tee, hits first available, and I'm going with my range, going up the middle here over this bush right in front of the tee, and just letting it drift to the basket. Really good shot there. Comes up a little bit short, about 15 feet short, but it's perfectly on line. Have this for birdie and just short it down the hill, put it nose down. There's a little left-right wind, just push it down. Christian misses his tap in. I think that was for bogey. I think he's taking a double here. And I have this for par. Knock that one down. Not mad at that, but would have been nice to get a stroke back after the double. And on to hole 6 now, 269 foot par 3. Going Pathfinder on a forehand, trying to just make sure I don't hit this first tree right in front of the tee pad. I always seem to hit it on backhand, so we're going forehand, trying to get it down on hyzer. And I don't do that. Came out flat, but I also threw it left, flipped up, way left. Almost got to the next tee pad actually. That's more what I was trying to do. He hits the tree right in the middle, but good shot from him. I end up here. I actually fought through a lot, but not in a great spot. My camera is on the tee pad right now, but I'm about 60 feet short. Don't have anything, so I'm going the range on a tomahawk, just throwing it straight up in the air. And I hit the tree. I was aiming at the tree because it was right in line with the basket, but didn't think I'd actually hit it. So end up here with about 25 feet left to the basket to save par after a horrible drive. And we knocked that one down, right side of the chains, catches, 2 over through 6. And we're on to hole 7 now, 378 foot par 3. Going strike up the right fairway. And we hit this one perfectly. Just comes out at the very end, catches a branch and gets a little bit left, but should be a pretty easy up and down from there, hopefully. Christian dirts another forehand.
You might too.
And it's actually a little bit tougher than I would have liked. It's a awkward slope, can't really go backhand because of the slope. Don't want to bring the rollaway into play, so I flick my A3 up there. Would have probably been pretty good if I didn't hit the tree, but still decent. End up about 10 feet short away, pin high, so not a bad stroke there. And we make the tap in, so we're still 2 over, and that one almost plays like a par 4. That's a tough hole, so really happy with par there. Stay 2 over through 7, and we're on to hole 8 now, 437 foot par 4. Trying to throw pretty much the same shot with the strike here, just left of the first tree off the tee. And we pull that one a little bit and give it just a touch of anhyzer, and it turns into a turnover. That disc feels like it's gonna be stable, but it keeps flipping on me, so I gotta expect it, but got way down there. Not mad at that shot at all. Christian, I don't even know what that was, but ends up throwing a roller and gets a decent ways down there actually. Not a bad shot from him, or not a bad result, but really bad shot actually. So I got down here about 80 feet short and right. I'm going with my range, trying to throw it just left of the tree. And I do, but it's just a little bit too high. Catches the branch, knocks it down. and I'm behind the bush with about a 35 footer, probably just outside the circle, for a birdie. And we come up just short on the birdie putt, but it does sit, so we have a tap in par. Not mad at that, but would have liked to capitalize on that good drive. On to hole 9 now, 271 foot par 3. And we're going with our fireball again, trying to throw pretty much the same shot that we threw on hole 2, trying to turn it over and then let it fight back at the end. And threw that one perfectly, got a nice amount of turn out of it, and then just came back straight down, pretty much dropped about 10 feet right of the basket. Did end up in a bush, so not a great lie, but really good shot. We have this for birdie. Have to straddle out of the bush, so it's a little bit tough, but shouldn't be bad. Except for we chain out left side. Hyzer putt didn't aim right. Chain out left side and roll away to about 20 feet. So we got a little bit of a comebacker here. Got to knock this one down to save the par. Airball that one. That was a really bad putt. Probably the worst putt of the day so far. So we're going to be taking a bogey on this one. Birdogey on hole 9 to get 3 over. Could be even right now if we made that putt and the putt on hole 5, but really unfortunate to take the birdogey there. But we're on to hole 10, 317 foot par 3. Going with the beast up the middle. And we put a smack on that one. That was a really good throw. Got it nose down and high enough to carry, but turned it over because of both of those things. And end up about pin high, just a little bit past actually, but about 40 feet left maybe. So we luckily did get to an opening, but not a great look at the basket. Just trying to give it a little bit of an elevator putt to hopefully get it close and get a little bit of a run. Decent shot there. We did stick up on the rocks, so we have a tap in par on 10. And we knock that one down. On to hole 11, 288 foot par 3. Going with the star T-bird, trying to go up the right side on Hyzer and just let it fight back. But it slips out early. We did get it on Hyzer, so not mad at that. Good angle out of the hand, but slipped out early. Ended up about 50, 60 feet short left. Christian goes with a Phoenix, I think it is. It's a Firebird clone. Don't know why he did that, but he ends up way short right. I have this from about 60. Going with the range, little flick up. Hopefully get close. And I hit my line, but it's just too low. Caught a bush right behind the tree. So I have a little bit of a tester for par. And I actually like that putt. It's a little bit high, but I feel like on most baskets I would catch. But take the bogey, tap in our bogey on 11, and we're on to hole 12 now, 324 foot par 3. Going with the destroyer, and I usually grip lock this hole, so I'm aiming left side, and I actually threw it almost exactly where I was aiming. So kick off the tree, end up short right. Didn't get very much distance there, so we're gonna have a long upshot from there. Gonna try to go with a forehand T-bird turnover, but it's gonna be tough to get the height right on this one and the power from the standstill. This tree is right in my way too. I'm trying to throw right over it. And I do, but just not high enough. End up about 25 feet short, maybe a little bit longer. knock that one down. Left side, good catch by the basket. Save the par there. Still 4 over through 12, and we're on to hole 13 now, 228-foot par 3. And we're on to a pretty easy stretch here. We just need one birdie on the rest of these holes to get the three over. And this is one of the opportunities. Trying to go with a flex forehand with the A3 up the middle, and trying to keep it low so that it'll catch the ground on Anheuser and not roll away. And we hit the gap, but it's way too high. Hits a tree, flexes out, but luckily it curls up. Doesn't roll down the hill, so we have a look, but not a great shot there. Have this for birdie. It is a little bit of a death putt. It's a bit of a slope behind the basket, but it's not horrible. Then you don't really roll down. There's a bunch of sticks and branches that catch you. Not a good effort there. Missed a few feet right, and luckily did sit, so we don't have a super long comebacker, but it is awkward footing, and it is starting to get a little bit windy up at the top of the course. So gotta focus on this one, make sure we knock it down. And we're able to do that. Par on 13, still 4 over. And we're on to hole 14 now, 303-foot par 3. And we're just trying to go just left of the white tree in the middle of your screen and keep it low, flex it, and have it crash back to the basket. And it came out on a little bit of hyzer, so I'm gonna be about 50 feet right, but really good distance and hit my line, so I'm not mad at it. Definitely could be a lot worse, but don't really have a safe look for the birdie. Have this tree is not in the way, but I want to give it a little bit of an elevator putt because it is pretty steep behind the basket and pretty easy to roll away. So want to give it an elevator putt, but the wind was gusting. I dropped the sticks, they don't move at all, but it was a bit of a headwind. Gonna give it the elevator putt anyway, and we come up just short. Not mad at that. Tap in the par, and pars are good. We just need one birdie, still have plenty of holes left to play, so not complaining about that. Christian did roll away on his upshot, and I don't know what he was thinking there. Just threw it vertically about 50 feet past the basket, so he has this for a double, I believe. Pitches up and taps in his triple bogey after what should have been an easy par. He was in pretty much the same spot that I was after his drive, so not a great hole from him. But we're on to hole 15 now, 309-foot par 3. And we're going with the forehand destroyer, trying to get it up the middle and flex it. And we do pretty much what I wanted to do, but it's 20 feet higher than I wanted. Nose up a little bit, so it stalls out short of the basket, but hit my line, and we do have a look at the basket, so not complaining about that. Decent. This bush is perfectly in my way, so tough lie, but we do have a look at it. I'm gonna try to go over the bush. And that was unfortunate. Really good bid, come up a foot short, bounce off the cage. Luckily don't roll away, so save the par. But we do need to get a birdie, and that was a decent look at it. This is a tough one to birdie. Hole 16, 285-foot par 3. It's not super far, but this hill right off the tee is like 6 feet high, so you have to throw a little bit up, and it's just awkward. Really good throw with the strike, but turned it over and hit almost the first tree possible. Luckily didn't kick back down into the little ravine, but gonna have a little bit of a difficult upshot from there.
That's pretty good. That was a good shot.
Trying to go probably 100 feet out, and we're trying to go with the A3 forehand, trying to throw a little turnover, match the slope of the hill, and hopefully be under the basket and have an easy par. And good angle, but not high enough. End up about 15 short on the uphill basket, or the elevated basket, so it's a little bit of a tricky putt. Gotta focus on this one, make sure we knock it down. And we're able to do that. Save the par on 16. Still hunting for the birdie, but we're taking pars, so we're not mad at it. And this is a decent opportunity for birdie. Hole 17, 590 foot par 4, plays super downhill. It is almost reachable. Going with the Wraith forehand here. And we launch that one on a flex line. Just catch the tree, but it fights through. And you'll see once we get down there, ended up about 100 feet short of the basket. So if it misses that tree, I think it might have a chance to get there. But never know, unfortunately. Christian goes with his strike. He has a really nice shot too. Just catches the backside of the guardian trees down there. So here's where we ended up, about 100 feet short. And we don't really have a hyzer line with the forehand. I want to go with the hyzer, but that tree is just perfectly in the way. So gonna try to go with a turnover, and it is pretty steep behind the basket. So if I miss, I want to miss short. And we do just that. Catch the bush, probably outside the circle from here, about 40 feet. Would have been decent if it missed the bush, but pretty short shot. We're gonna try to give this a little bit of a run, but I'm still scared of the fall off behind. So we give it an elevator putt, too high, end up about 10 feet left in an awkward lie. A little bit longer than I would have liked for the par. Just sneak it over the rim, save the par on 17. So we have 3 holes left, need to go 1 down through the next 3. And they're all birdieable, so shouldn't have any trouble, hopefully, but we'll see. We're on hole 18 now, 319 foot par 3. Going with the range, just trying to keep it low down the middle. And it comes out a little bit high, but good line. Just catches the inside of that tree. Kicks pretty much straight left. Did not get enough distance there. It's going to be a tough upshot from there, but we'll hopefully have a line. And it is pretty much wide open. You can see the basket even, so not a horrible lie. Going with the A3, and this bush is right in front of me, so I'm giving it a little bit of flex, really soft so that it'll come out. Really good shot. Get it under the basket, except for it pops up on edge and is just rolling. I actually could not believe it. Christian said it was rolling, didn't believe him, but you can just see it down there. Almost got OB. Behind the logs is OB. Said it almost curled in between them. So luckily it didn't go OB, but I literally curled it around the basket and just rolled to about 50 feet here. Really unfortunate. This is for par. Not a great bid, but got it close enough for the bogey, so we're gonna have to birdie the last 2. On to hole 19, 179 foot par 3. Or 279 foot par 3, excuse me. Going Nuke OS up to the left side, just trying to crank over on it high. Really good shot. Just catches the last tree though. Knocks it down. End up about 20 feet left, but do have an opening, so we should have a decent look from there. Christian goes tomahawk and ends up about 50 feet short, and he actually knocks down that putt for the birdie. I have this for the birdie, probably about 18 feet. There is a tree just on the right side of the basket, behind the tree right in the middle of your screen, so I do have to be a little bit left side of the basket. But we're able to knock it down, so we're back to 4 over with a 1 hole left to play. Birdie it to hit the goal. Going destroyer off the tee, and we're just trying to keep it flat just past the tree right in the middle of the tee pad. And we just put too much angle on it. Doesn't fight out. Only got about 300 off the tee here on a 600 foot hole. It is a par 4, so we still have a hero shot to hopefully get the bird, but not a great drive. So we're gonna have some work to do. Ranged it, it's 310 feet from here, so we're going trail. Trying to go straight at the basket, and it tends to be a little bit overstable. If anything, it's really just perfectly straight. But we juice this one on a touch of anhyzer and get a really nice turnover shot out of it, but just not what we needed there. End up way right behind some trees. We do have a look at the basket. This is 100 feet out. Have to make this to save the birdie, hit the goal. Going with the range flick forehand, and it's just not close. Absolutely skied it. Hit the branches, knocked it down about 40 feet short, so we have some work to save the par here. Outside the circle look, it's super windy. You can see the grass and the trees blowing. Pretty much a straight headwind, a little bit left to right. So we're counting on a lift here on the elevated basket. Gonna give it a little bit of nose up. Bang it in off the front of the cage, which sucks because if I just put the upshot to 40 feet in the same spot, would have maybe been able to make the bird, hit the goal. But we come up just short. Took the stupid double bogey on 4 after the OB shot, and then a bad bogey on 9. Hit with the birdogey, and then 11 was just a bad shot. 18, stupid roll away. But really clean golf today. Not mad at the round. Tied my PR, so not upset at it. But we'll be back at it again next Wednesday. Thanks everybody for watching, and bop off.